Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. There's a lot of different storylines here this morning. I want to touch on four just briefly before we get into the announcement. The first is that when LAGCOE announced it was leaving Lafayette for New Orleans, there was certainly a lot of emotion around that decision in our community. Understandably so. They had been here for 65 years. Emotion doesn't pay the bills, action does, and that's why immediately what I said publicly is that we were going to pull up our bootstraps and go to work to try to find business to replace the loss of LAGCOE. And I'm pleased to announce that's exactly what we have done, and I want to thank our Chief Sales Officer, Mike Roebuck, and his team, Carl Toops, who is here, for their efforts in that. Secondly, when we hosted the National Golden Gloves in 2017, which was a huge get for our community, it was an event that was held in Las Vegas the previous year. I said at that time that the prestige of having the National Golden Gloves would pay dividends for us in the future. If you can show that you had the ability to host an event like the National Golden Gloves, then you can host anything, and people start paying attention. And that's exactly what happened as well. Thirdly, this is another great example where Mayor President Robideau's CREATE initiative has stepped up and given us the ability to leverage resources to make things happen. So thank you, Mayor President Robideau. Lastly, from an infrastructure standpoint, we cannot host events without venues. And you can't host big events without great infrastructure. From the day that this Youngsville sports complex opened, it immediately has paid dividends for the tourism industry. But what is great about today is that the majority of the events that we've been hosting, working with the mayor and Tim and his staff, have been baseball, softball, and soccer events. Today, we're going to diversify that mix. And I want to be very clear that if it were not for the Youngsville Sports Complex and this arena, we would not be here today. So thank you so much, Mayor Ritter. With all that being said, we're very pleased to announce that we have secured Sugarbird Boxing and the national qualifier for October 18th through 20th, 2019 here at the Youngsville Sports Complex, with an option for the Sugarbird National Championships in both 20 and 21 that would need to be held at the Cajun Dome. We're very pleased to have Bert Wells here, the president of Sugarbird Boxing, and his wife Lisa, and I want to invite Bert up just to say a few words. Bert?
Thank you. Well, my wife and I started Sugarbird Boxing about 15 years ago, and for the last 4 years we've moved Sugarbird Boxing all around the country in some of the best venues, some of the best cities in the United States. This city, with Mike and Carl and Youngsville Sports Complex and the powers to be to actually sit us down and talk about what this would do and how this would bring boxing to Youngstown, is the reason we chose it. Lafayette and the culture that's going on here in Lafayette, Louisiana, it just speaks volume to the multitude of boxers that we bring in, the diversity of the boxers that we bring in. And this city, you know, I just want to give you guys a round of applause because we actually put this together at such a short notice, but we had been working on this for such a long time behind the scenes. But this was, so if you guys don't mind, give yourselves a round of applause. I know that this event couldn't be done without special people coming together, so I want to thank both mayors for their participation and for their welcoming of the Sugarbird Boxing staff and the people that are coming in. Normally for our events, we have boxers that are, you know, coming from Texas. They drive many miles to get to our events. They fly in from all around the country and even outside of the country as well. So for Lafayette, we're expecting a large turnout. The economic impact that it will have for the city and the future that it will hold, you know, that we look forward to doing. This is a multi-year deal that we're doing with Lafayette. So we're starting out with the Youngstown Sports Complex, but we ultimately, over the next year or so, look forward to this event growing to the Cajun Dome. So with that being said, I want to thank my wife, who's been a partner of mine, and we can't do this, you know, I couldn't do what I do without her. So I want to thank my beautiful wife for supporting. We've got a great team. This event is USA Boxing, WBC, NBA, which is the National Boxing Association, and of course the Youngsville Sports Complex coming together to make this event happen. So I just want to thank everybody, and anyone have any questions, feel free to ask, but I want to thank everybody for having us here.
Thank you. We'll do questions at the end. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here, and it really was great that we were able to get you here on Mardi Gras weekend, so I know you'll enjoy some of those festivities. Next, what happens in government far too often is that the no becomes an answer so easily instead of how. And in our organization, we try to get to how on every occasion. And we're so fortunate that we have two mayors here who share that same belief. And we want to thank them again. And I'm going to call up Mayor President Robideau first, and then we'll have Mayor Bitter. Mayor?
Thanks, Ben. Let me say that really briefly, when I took office, I think most everyone knows that we had a large number of folks that were laid off. The oil industry wasn't doing well, and the economy was really starting to struggle. And so one of the things that we did was saying, look, we need to focus on the assets that we have and the really good things and great things that Lafayette has. And that's where the CREATE initiative was born out of. And it's to focus on our cultural economy, and that includes the R in CREATE is recreation, because any great community without the recreation component is not as great as it can be. And I was fortunate when I served in the legislature that the dreams of this complex here in Youngsville was born, and I was able to see it actually come to life. And that, as much as anything, had to do with the people of Youngsville that committed to making it happen. And so now, as parish president, I'm the beneficiary of the leaders of Youngsville, the community of Youngsville, when they step up and do things like this and create a complex like this. It allows the rest of Lafayette Parish to benefit from the types of events that it can draw. And so when Ben and I got together after the LAGCOE announcement to say we need to really focus on the fall and figure out what we can do to bring people to the community, it was an easy decision when Ben said, look, we're going to need CREATE to step up and sponsor in a way and help leverage some of the money that's going to be needed to bring this event to town. And so the recreational component for me is as an important piece as the music and the food and the arts and all the other pieces of our cultural economy. But like Ben said, without the facility and without the vision of Youngsville's citizens and its leaders, we wouldn't be here today. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mayor Ritter to talk a little bit more about the complex and the efforts that y'all put in to make this a world-class facility. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Youngsville. I want to personally thank Bert and his wife for choosing to bring this great event to Lafayette Parish and specifically to Youngsville. When we talk about the Youngsville Sports Complex, this is the exact type of event that we had in mind at the time that we had conversations. At one point, not that, excuse me, not that long ago, the Youngsville Sports Complex was really just a field of dreams. We had 70 acres, excuse me, in leadership at that time that was determined to make the best use of it. So we are honored to have this event here. We look forward to having many, many more events similar to this at the Youngsville Sports Complex and Rec Center. I'd like to personally thank and acknowledge the Lafayette Convention and Visitors Commission and their group. My professional background for over 20 years, I was in hotel management, so I firsthand understand the value and the importance and the mission of the LCVC, and that is to bring tourism, bring economic development, and to bring folks in to fill rooms in Lafayette Parish. I think the most important thing that needs to be underscored here is, as Mayor Widow said, is the foresight and the wisdom of the residents of the city of Youngsville. Citizens of Youngsville passed a tax during a very anti-tax climate to bring this type of complex here to our community. And in a very short time, what we found is that we're becoming not only a destination for baseball, softball, soccer. We're getting ready to break ground on a first-class sand volleyball complex, which is going to be to NCAA specs, and we're just getting started. So I share the principle with the mayor-president that we have to diversify the economy, and certainly tourism, as I know firsthand, plays a huge part in that. So we are appreciative of the CVB and their efforts of bringing this to Lafayette Parish, and specifically to Youngsville. I'm committed on behalf of our team to make certain that that Sugarbird Boxing has a first-class experience here, so that way we can continue the conversation for the national events as well. Our city council, I have 3 city council members here today I want to acknowledge, because without their leadership and without their efforts, this type of event could not be held possible as well. So again, thank you, congratulations, appreciate you bringing it to our community. I emphasize again the residents of our community and their foresight to invest here before it was popular to make tourism a talking point for the Lafayette economy. Thank you very much.
I want to open it up for any questions, either myself, Bert, or either of the mayors. Any questions?
How long of an event is it? It's obviously a boxing tournament. Is it a weekend or a week-long event?
So the event is a 3-day event. So the first day is Friday, the 18th on that Friday. Boxers will be coming in. Typically, some of them will come in on Thursday, and registration will happen here at the Youngsville Sports Complex on Friday from 12 noon until 6. And then that way we'll bracket those boxers off, and they will start competing on Saturday, and the championship is on Sunday. So it's really a 3-day event. If we get more boxers than we anticipate, in some cities we'll add another day to it. That's eventually what we'd like to do here, which is add that Monday to the event. So 500-700 boxers start coming in. That's what we'll do to get to 1 champion in the weight classes.
Now you're with you're obviously Sugarbird Boxing Promotions. This is part of the Golden Gloves network, or part of their?
Well, Sugarbird Boxing Promotions is a subsidiary to USA Boxing. So we're that grassroots organization that allows the boxers from 8 years of age to firemen and police officers that are 75 to come in and compete. The 19 and 18-year-old elite boxers are coming in. There will be boxers that will have an opportunity to make the Olympics. So we're that grassroots company that works directly with USA Boxing. Golden Gloves is an organization that I boxed in for years when I was younger. It's an organization similar to Sugarbird Boxing.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
How many things will be set up? Is it 1 or 2, 4? How many?
We'll have 2. This is a 2-ring event. When we receive, if we exceed the 500 boxers that we anticipate to come in, we'll add 3 rings. This venue will be busting at the seams with the number of rings and boxers, but we'll be able to accommodate that here in this venue.
Any other questions? Okay, and everybody, I think we'll be available for a short time for some interviews one-on-one if needed. Thank you so much for being here. We're looking forward to being back here, not only in October, but many other times in the future. Have a great weekend.